For a while, Tekashi 6ix9ine had the world at his feet. He broke out in 2017 and was almost immediately recognized for his aggressive bars and habit of feuding with celebrities and making enemies in all the wrong places. He also developed a habit of running into trouble with the law, and in 2019, he committed the biggest sin there is. He snitched in the trial of the 9 Trey gangsters. He got a shortened sentence for helping put away notorious gang members and has been a free man for a while, but his past doesn't intend to leave him alone. He was jumped by a group of men in an LA Fitness and was brutally beaten. Why did this attack happen? And how did 6ix9ine end up here? After authorities found the perpetrators, it may just have been revealed why they did it. A troubled rise to the top. It's funny, because as crazy as it sounds, the revealed reason for the attack on 6ix9ine is linked to his very beginnings as an artist up until his status today. However, a critical incident in 2019 in the rapper's life stands out, as you'll soon see. Let's go through his history, shall we? 6ix9ine entered the rap game around 2014 and started dropping a bunch of singles. He started getting the attention of people for two reasons. Firstly, his rapping style was pretty aggressive, and his use of anime in music videos was unique and helped him stand out from the crowd. But at least until 2017, people weren't really talking about 6ix9ine's music. Instead, he became a meme because of his rainbow-colored hair and grills and his collection of, let's say, interesting tattoos. In July 2017, 6ix9ine's unique look went viral on Reddit and Twitter when he posted this photo on his Instagram. Sure, he didn't go viral for the best of reasons, but it meant that more people knew his name and were checking out his music. In November of that year, he dropped his first commercial single, Gummo, which was an immediate success. It worked its way up to 12th on the US Billboard Top 100, and just like that, 6ix9ine was on his way to becoming a major player in the game. By March 2018, Gummo had been certified platinum by the Recording Industry Association of America, or the RIAA. 6ix9ine hadn't taken his foot off the gas in that time though. In December, he dropped his next single, Kuda, and he collaborated with Fetty Wap and A Boogie with a Hoodie to release Kiki. Both songs were on the Hot 100 list, and 6ix9ine used all that momentum to release his mixtape, Day 6ix9ine, which again showcased his love for using anime-style designs in his work. I'm not going to go into too much detail about what he was up to the next few months, but 6ix9ine's rise was an interesting one to witness for one major reason. Instead of his music doing the talking for him first, 6ix9ine capitalized on all the conversations surrounding his crazy appearance to get his name and music out there. Now from here, things were starting to get a little complicated. 6ix9ine was making a ton of music, but also repeatedly getting into trouble with the law. In the interest of making all our lives easier, I'm going to focus on the music first, and then take a look at all the problems he was having around the same time. Trouble, trouble, trouble. The first controversial incident 6ix9ine ran into after making it big was in May of 2018. He was involved in a shootout with Casanova's entourage. Casanova's a New York rapper, and both men had been beefing for a few months at this point, with him even releasing a track called Set Trippin', which was focused on the issues he had with 6ix9ine. Now 6ix9ine didn't open fire himself. The shooting went down between both rappers' entourages, but it was still controversial enough to get him into trouble. He lost a headphone deal worth about $5 million, and he was blacklisted from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, where the shooting took place before a boxing match between Adrian Broner and Jesse Vargas. This wasn't a major setback for 6ix9ine though. He dropped Tati in June, which debuted at number 43 on the Billboard Hot 100. Around the same time, he orchestrated a hit on Chief Keef in New York, another rapper that he had been beefing with. Thankfully, no one was injured in the attack, but the police were on to 6ix9ine, even if he had an airtight alibi for being in Los Angeles at the time. In February 2019, 6ix9ine admitted that he paid an associate around $20,000 to shoot at Keef. The next month, he collaborated with Nicki Minaj and Murder Beats to release Fifi, which debuted at number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100. It peaked at number 3 the next week and was certified double platinum by the RIAA. Around the same time, 6ix9ine almost got into trouble once more, as he was arrested for allegedly choking a 16-year-old in Texas in January of that year. 6ix9ine had just returned from his European tour, where he was greeted by cops at JFK Airport, who were waiting there to arrest him. Ultimately, nothing much came of the entire situation because the teenager chose not to take legal action against him. July 2018 was an eventful month for the rapper overall. In addition to dropping Fifi and getting arrested for allegedly choking a kid, 6ix9ine was jumped by 3 men who beat and robbed him of his custom-made jewelry valued at around $750,000 and then around $15,000 to $20,000 in cash. This happened soon after 6ix9ine had finished shooting a music video for Fifi. The attackers pistol whipped him and threw him in a car, but he was able to escape and get a stranger to call the police. One of the attackers was a member of the 9 Trey gangsters. I'll get to them in a bit. In September 2018, 6ix9ine signed a publishing deal with Create Music Group in Los Angeles and announced his debut album, Dummy Boy, which would be released on November 23rd. This should have been a major milestone for 6ix9ine, but the album was ultimately released on all streaming services on November 27th, without any real promotion or so much as a heads up. The album was panned by almost all music critics, but audiences responded to it favorably, as it debuted in the second spot of the Billboard 200. Now you may be wondering why Create Music Group would go through all the trouble of signing 6ix9ine and dropping Dummy Gummy Boy under their label, only to release it without any hype 4 days after its expected release. Well, 6ix9ine had been arrested just days earlier and was facing life in prison due to his alleged association with the 9 Trey Gangsters. 9 Trey Gangsters. Before I get into the trial and who 6ix9ine snitched on, it's important to understand just why the 9 Trey Gangsters, or NTG, are such a big deal. The NTG is a far more violent sect of the United Blood Nation gang, which is an offshoot of the California-based Bloods. The United Blood Nation, or UBN, was born back in 1993 in Rikers Island. Omar OG Mac Porti and Leonard OG Deadeye McKenzie allied with several gangs in the prison, which included the 9 Trey Gangsters, mainly to protect everyone from some of the most feared gangs operating in the prison. Anyway, the United Blood Nation started off selling drugs like cocaine, PCP, and heroin, and often used children, prostitutes, and the homeless to peddle their products. As the NGT has also been accused of being involved in sex trafficking and using counterfeit currency to finance their operations. Way before 6ix9ine's testimony came into the picture, the NTG had experienced its fair share of setbacks over the years. Back in 2006, more than 60 members of the NTG were arrested at the end of an 11-month operation, which included about 500 law enforcement officials from local, state, and federal agencies. The charges included extortion, racketeering, money laundering, conspiracy, and drug-related crimes. The next few years were relatively stable for the NTG. The gang formed an alliance with the Lucchese crime family. The Lucchese family makes up one of the 5 Italian-American mafia families that dominate organized crime in New York City. They teamed up to smuggle cell phones into East Jersey State Prison, but it was a bust. Unknown to them, law enforcement had put Operation Heat into motion, led by the Division of Criminal Justice Gangs and Organized Crime Bureau, who uncovered this plan and took down 2 members of the Lucchese crime family and about 30 other members and associates. Not only that, but Dwayne Spears, a high-ranking general in the NTG, was also indicted, in what was a major blow to the gang. But wait, there's more. In May 2017, the NTG and the UBN were dealt their biggest blow yet. Over 80 members were arrested, with a variety of charges ranging from federal racketeering conspiracy to murder, and even identity theft relating to financial crimes. This time, over 600 law officials were involved in the operation, with local law enforcement from Virginia, Florida, New York, North Carolina, and South Carolina all involved. 82 members of the NTG were convicted, including Pedro Gutierrez, who was one of the most important leaders in the UBN. He was sentenced to 20 years in prison in September 2018. This was the NTG's last major run-in with the law until 6ix9ine was arrested. Why they did it? Just a couple days after stating that he only feared God and the FBI, 6ix9ine was arrested on November 18, 2018, alongside his former manager, Kifano Jordan, otherwise known as Shotty, and 3 other associates. He was pulled up on federal racketeering, firearms charges, conspiracy to commit murder, and armed robbery, and was facing 47 years in prison. About a month after he was supposed to be sentenced, 6ix9ine cut a plea deal and agreed to cooperate in investigations against his fellow NTG members. Just like that, he got 45 years shaved off his sentence, as the judge on his case credited him with putting away several gang members with histories of violence. In March 2020, 6ix9ine petitioned to serve the rest of his sentence from home, as his asthma put him at high risk of getting COVID-19. His request was granted, and his house arrest came to end on August 1st, 2020. 6ix9ine was a free man once more, but his testimony had left him with a target on his back. Let's jump forward about 2.5 years. 6ix9ine was doing his thing at an LA Fitness in Palm Beach County, Florida, when he was jumped by a group of men. He was brutally beaten and robbed by at least 3 men and was eventually hospitalized. For about a week, it was unclear who was behind the attack, but towards the end of March, authorities arrested 3 men linked with the beating. Rafael Medina Jr., Octavius Medina, and Anthony Maldonado are the prime suspects and have been charged with robbery and battery. 6ix9ine has since pretty much recovered completely and even took some time out to comment on the attack, calling it cowardly. As of right now, the motives behind the attack are a little murky, but the involvement of Rafael Medina Jr. is telling. He was the oldest of the 3 men to attack the rapper and has been documented to have a long history with the Latin Kings. As a matter of fact, he was the president of the Palm Beach County chapter of the gang. On the surface, this could seem like a coincidence, but the Latin Kings have been allied with the Bloods for a long time, and 6ix9ine's testimony took down a number of people important to the Bloods. 6ix9ine has stated he intends to reach out to the feds for protection, but at the same time, he hasn't really beefed up his security and believes the attack was a fluke. But considering the fact that the Bloods are, well, out for blood, and have allies keeping an eye on him, 6ix9ine's freedom may come at a cost he isn't ready to pay.